Welcome back, Triple Option. Paul and Jack here with you. And this is a very special episode where I admit the things I was wrong about.
Basically where we advertise why you shouldn't listen to us.
Exactly. Like, here's why. Now, will Josh Pate sit in front of you and talk all his Pate State nonsense and say he was wrong? And look, he's great is what he does. I'm not saying he's not. But no, he won't. Well, my dear friend, J.D. Piquel, he might. I know JD might. JD might. I don't know.
I don't know if they ask him to, but he would.
Yeah.
He would.
Yeah. Listen, does
JD.
Kirk Herbstreit ever say when he's wrong?
Oh, heck no.
Does Desmond Howard?
Please.
No. You know, Pat McAfee doesn't really need to because we most assume he made those predictions while drunk. So, you know, like they're not going to say like, oh, man, I was wrong about that. No. I'm up here saying, do the clowns on the charlatan Triple Option show admit when they're wrong? I promise you, one of those a-holes does not. Never has and never will.
And does he admit when his players have done wrong?
Or his coaches.
Hell no.
Or his coaches that he's taken through several jobs, knowing exactly what his coach is doing.
No.
Will he admit what he himself did wrong in a bar in Columbus, Ohio, after sending his wife home with the grandkids?
Please.
No. Again, this is the punditry that you're here for, is when people admit when they're wrong. Tucker Carlson's not doing it. Whoever the people on CNN are, Jake Tapper's not doing it. I'm doing it. I guess those are the opposites of each other, right? I don't know. I don't watch them. I don't watch them enough.
I kind of just let you do your thing.
Yeah. So we're going to use this segment to show Bracket Cat says, it's OSU, Paul, isn't it? Yes, that's the first thing we'll talk about. I spent the entire offseason saying, I don't know about Oklahoma State. And then I got talked into it because of the wide receivers and Ollie Gordon and the offensive line.
You know why I got talked into it? Not for any of those things, but for the simple fact I have been ready to stick a fork in Oklahoma State for like the last 3 straight years. And right when I've like stabbed them in the neck with it, they've come back to life.
Yeah.
Like every year, like clockwork, the second I'm ready to give up on that Oklahoma State Cowboys team, they come back to life. And it's so weird. And this year I was like, no, I'm not doing it. I'm not doing it. And it looks like I should have done it. It looks like I should have put the fork in them.
Yeah. Bracket Cat says, could be worse, Paul. Picked OSU to win the league. Ha, ha, ha. So, according to Kyle Visser, Tucker Carlson has said he was wrong about many things. All right, well, I'm not watching that a-hole, so I don't know.
Yeah, me neither. I not the kind of content I want to watch.
No, if he was doing the podcast in my front yard, I'd go to the back.
I stick to sports.
Yeah. So, anyway, he did through emails also admit that he was wrong about the election. I don't know if you guys saw the Dominion case. Going to throw that out there, but anyway. But they did admit that he did that anyway.
Anyway,
$787 million.
You mind if I tee us up?
Yeah, go ahead.
So, heading into the season on Second365.com, all of us contributors were asked to offer who we thought would be in the Big 12 championship game and who would win the Big 12 championship game.
Yeah.
You and I had the same answer, and well, we were dead wrong about one of those teams.
Yeah, Utah. And I don't know why I didn't apply the same logic to Cam Rising that I did to Alan Bowman, because my logic also on Alan Bowman was, he's not really that good anyway. That he got through, they got through with a very average year, 15 touchdowns, 14 interceptions. I mean, that's only slightly over 1-to-1 in that. So they had these great wide receivers, and it didn't matter in that regard. But I thought, okay, well, Ollie Gordon's still Ollie Gordon. That's going to happen. Offensive line, blah, blah, blah. They didn't happen. Okay, so there's a lot of things. I don't know why in the midst of that I didn't say, well, another really devastating injury that he had. He's 25 years old in Cam Rising. Like, what's to tell me that he's going to be durable when he comes back? And that's exactly what I should not have thought. I should have maybe hedged a little bit on Utah. But the thing is, my team after Utah was Kansas, who, this is another thing I was wrong about. If Jalen Daniels plays every game, they're not going to lose many games. Well, that exact opposite of that has happened.
That's one of the crazier things for me. And I don't know what to chalk it up to. Like, because it seems a little quick and reductionist just to say new offense hasn't worked out. They didn't get it installed properly early on, and they dropped games early. It does seem like they might be coming around a bit, but too little, too late, mostly for their expectations on the year. Because you had one of the best quarterbacks in the league. You have a head coach who seemed to have things rolling. There's a lot of momentum, and they went out and laid how many eggs in a row?
Yeah. They lost 5 games in a row, right? They're 2-5.
I'm pulling it up right now.
Yeah, they're 2-5 because they won the first one against Lindenwood and then lost the next 5.
Yes.
And then won this last week.
They thrashed Houston.
Yeah, they did. And maybe they finish 6-6 on the way out. I don't think that that's going to happen. I think they've got other problems, but I thought it was going to come down like this week's game, and it still might, but this week's game only affects the Big 12 championship if Kansas State loses. Mm-hmm. I thought it was gonna be the winner of this game is probably a participant in that game. That is not happening at all. At all. So wrong about that. I was wrong. I went on 2 different UCF podcasts and told them that they should not worry about KJ Jefferson. This offense was perfect for him. Plus, the pressure's off of them. They've got 3 really good running backs. They've got 2 really good wide receivers. The offensive line is good. The defense will be better than it was a year ago. Plus, if they're running the ball as much as they are, the defense doesn't have to be that great because the best defense will be their offense because they'll be able to grind clock late in games and do that. They have now lost 4 games in a row, and they are not in contention for the Big 12 title. So I thought they would be a team that hung around. They have proved me very, very, very wrong.
Yeah. And for as wrong as you might have been about UCF, a team that I was probably even more wrong about, BYU. Like, I think I had them.
We were all wrong about BYU
in the conference. Maybe worse.
I think I had them 15th.
Yeah. And I don't know what it was for me, really. Like, Retzlaff has impressed me. I did not think he would be this good. I just didn't think they had the Jimmies and the Joes, frankly. Outside of Roberts at receiver, I was just like, I don't see what they have. And I guess I was blind. Because starting off 4-0 in conference play, as messy as a couple of those games have looked for them, specifically like Baylor and Oklahoma State, good teams find a way to win. Mm-hmm. And they're showing that even if they don't necessarily have the individual stars at any position, guys that will play on Sundays specifically, they're a good team. They've put it together.
Yeah. They're very good. They're very good. I feel like I was on the right track about Iowa State. I thought they would be good. I just didn't realize they'd be this good. I do think that win against Iowa gave them a confidence boost that now they don't worry about things.
I feel like they usually have some kind of early season troubles and then they figure themselves out.
Yeah.
But you're right. Beating Iowa the early took season, them 3 weeks into the future.
The early season trouble was just the first half against Iowa. That was it. After that, they've had games that are tight, yeah, but the style of football they play, they're not going to blow a lot of people out. But they're going to, again, not make mistakes. They weren't blowing Baylor out. In fact, they were losing to Baylor, and then Baylor just lost all the momentum, and Iowa State finished every drive from the middle of the third quarter on. Was just like, all right, well, if you guys aren't going to score, then we will. So let's just go. And that kind of happened there. So I wasn't wrong about them. I I'm very wrong about Colorado. I'm right about one thing. They've got to change their offensive system. When Shedur's gone, they can't. I don't care who you get at quarterback. They're not going to be able to do this like Shedur is doing.
No,
they're not.
You're not going to be able to be like, hey, top draft pick quality NFL quarterback, please throw to these NFL quality receivers and have no O-line and almost no semblance of a running game in front of you.
Yeah, like that's not sustainable.
At all.
Shedur is making it sustainable. Like he is making that work. I was very wrong that I thought their defense was soft. Their defense is not soft. Their defense is it's not great, but it's good enough.
It gets the job done.
Yeah, I mean, it gets the job done. You don't in college football. You don't need to have nearly the defensive efficiency you do have to in the NFL, but you have to have some. And last year they had none. This year they do. They're a very efficient defensive team, and I mean they've only allowed 153 points on the year. So through 7 games, that's a lot better than they were last year, where they were more like Texas Tech, who's allowed 253 points on the year. A quarter of those coming this last week. Just wanted to note that. I was wrong. Like I thought Tech would be maybe more up and down than they've been. They've had 2 little minutes of down. We'll see how they respond against TCU. Part of me wants to pick TCU this week, but part of me thinks that Tech may come and bounce back. I don't know. It depends. I don't know if TCU can stop Taj Brooks, but we said the same thing about Baylor a week ago, and they didn't stop him. They contained his impact, and then
they contained him and then did enough to take him out of the game situationally.
Yeah, and then the offense just didn't stop scoring. Yeah. I mean, the other thing I will tell you about that last week with Tech is, defensively, yes, that one of those touchdowns was given up by the defense. It was really given up by the special teams. I mean, Josh Cameron got knocked out at the 1. I don't know why. Like, did they just feel bad? Like he may not get another touchdown, so they gave it to him.
Yeah,
he was very clearly out of the 1.
The refs missed like 3 of those same calls in the game.
Like, I mean, this wasn't like he bounced at the 1 and like scooted over. He was going out of bounds.
The ref was afraid of getting hit.
And
I'm pretty sure that's where his mind was at.
And like Josh's backside hit like at the 1, like out of bounds, and the ball was behind the pylon. So yeah, I guess technically it crossed the plane, but it's got to cross the plane inbounds, not out of bounds.
And his foot like clipped the pylon. Maybe that's what confused the ref. Is that the pylon ended up down? I don't know.
Yeah,
but yeah,
I get not wanting to get hit.
Tech is confusing me currently. I don't like. I had the middle of the pack. I still think they're on for that kind of finish. Maybe they'll outperform what I thought they'd do, but they're confusing me. Like week 1, they go and they nearly get upset by Abilene Christian.
Yeah.
And then in my head, after losing to Washington State, I'm like, you're 0-2 to 2 teams I don't like. You should be 0-2. You're 1-1, but you should be 0-2 against 2 teams I don't think very highly of. Like Washington State's been better than I thought they would be, but then they go and they beat Arizona State and Cincinnati, who I'm now knowing I need to value a little higher.
Yeah.
I was like, okay, they're not really beating anyone. No, they're like those are some solid Big 12 teams this year. So.
Yeah.
You go and lay that egg against Baylor. I do not know what to make of Texas Tech.
I was also wrong about Cincinnati. Picked them towards the bottom of the league. I thought but they're fun. They're fun.
Same with Arizona State for me. Might have the most fun coach in the nation.
Yeah. No, I was ready to build up them for next year.
Yeah.
So I was like, look, I think they're going to be better, but yeah, they've got a guy who I think is very, very, very good, and I can't wait for the rest of the country I can't wait. Like, I don't know let's look who Arizona State plays non-conference wise in the next couple of years. They're going to wind up in a bowl game. I really hope they wind up in a bowl game against an SEC team so that, they'll be like, oh, Arizona State, rah, 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 and then lose.
I hope they don't.
Oh.
They go and beat an SEC team. You take at least 1 year off of how long Kenny Dillingham stays in the Big 12.
Yeah, well, I mean, it is his alma mater, so maybe he's got
That'd be cool. Don't get me wrong. Yeah. But if an SEC school comes calling.
They already drilled an SEC school once this year, and that was Mississippi State. They play them on the road next year.
I wouldn't be surprised if that's where he goes in 2 years.
I don't know. I wouldn't mind having him back. He knows the city of Tallahassee well. They're They play in 2026. They play at Kyle Field. So,
Oh boy, I think that's one of the ones that's going to get canceled for the Big Ten SEC stuff.
if that happens by 2026, maybe. I hope not.
Me too. That's one of those things I don't want to see fully realized. Sorry to take us off track, but
No. But you're right. You're right. So I think that covers all that I was wrong about in the Big 12. And I was wrong about Oklahoma State, but really, had I gone with my initial instinct, I wouldn't have been wrong about them. So I'm mad about not going with my initial instinct on that one.
I definitely need to throw out Arizona. I thought they'd be so much better than they've been.
Yeah.
Like,
I think I had them 5th.
I put too much faith in McMillan and Fafita.
I think next year when they send me the ballot, I'm just going to say, don't ask me.
Yeah. I don't think I actually turned mine in this year.
I did put Taj Brooks on the first, didn't I? I might have put him on the second team. God. I was between, look, the Big 12 has some really good running backs. RJ Harvey, Taj Brooks, Ollie Gordon, Devin Neal, Cam Scadaboo, like I can go on and on and on. My first team right now is Brooks and Scadaboo. And then after that I'll filter through, but there's other guys I'm leaving out, I know. Like, here's what I'm happy about. When I get down to vote for the postseason team, I don't have to worry about Colorado running backs. I don't have to worry about Arizona running backs. I only, we do a first and a second team. I only have to pick 2 quarterbacks. I already know who they're going to be. Shador. No, maybe I don't. It's going to be, I know who, there's 4 that I'm going to pick from. Shador is going to be my first team quarterback.
Yep.
And then Avery Johnson, Jake Retzlaff, and Rocco Becht are the next ones on my list. My preseason one was Jalen Daniels, and then second team was Avery Johnson. So, Again, a thing I wasn't completely right about. I probably should have given Shador a little bit more of a bump. I got to admit, I let his personality affect me a little bit, and I shouldn't do that. They've been, since that Nebraska game, they've been much more humble. Like, they've realized, hey, let's not write checks our ass can't cash. And, the Kansas State game was nip tuck. I mean, that could have gone either way. So.
I wouldn't necessarily say I got humble vibes when I was out there, but by the end of the game, they were very thankful they escaped Baylor. Mm-hmm. So I think they've had a series of results this year that have definitely helped keep the hype in check, despite them, frankly, being a better and more successful team than they had been last year. Mm-hmm. I think they realize how close those margins are and how competitive things are, and that, their talent's seeing them through, but they need every ounce of that talent to see them through.
Yeah.
And I think that's only going to help those guys moving forward into their pro careers.
Yeah. All right, we're going to take a break, and when we come back, I'm going to tell you things I was actually right about to give myself some credit. You tear yourself down.
Okay, so my task for the next segment is to try and keep tearing Paul down.
Okay, well, then we'll see. We'll see if you can do that.